So the brothers, they asked me to speak to you guys about crime. About crime. So we titled this talk, Criminal Minded. But like in here, because I want to ensure I bring everyone in, and it's not just for those who are on the street selling drugs, doing fraud, rushing people in gangs, this, that and the other. No, this is for all of us, because as far as Allah Azza wa Jal is concerned, the children of Adam, they have a tendency to commit crimes. So we're going to divide the crimes into 3 categories, and we're going to look at crime from the angle and the lenses of the Quran and the Sunnah. And we're going to assess crime based upon that. First and foremost, the crimes are divided into 3 categories. The first category is the greatest category. And this is a crime that one will not ever be forgiven from if they died doing it. And this is shirk billahi azza wa jal. This is to worship someone besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to fall into any act of kufr and to die upon that. That person will remain in the hellfire for absolute eternity. That is a crime. That is a crime where the punishment is eternal. The punishment is eternal, brothers and sisters. One may say a person commit a crime for a few moments and he's being punished for eternity. How is that fair? We say it's absolutely fair, because you don't measure the crime based upon how long the person did it for. If that was the case, then sometimes people, they murder someone based on a short rage of anger. So he murdered someone because of 10 seconds, he lost it. And now you put him in jail for life? So then the same principle would apply there. We don't. Rather, we judge the person based upon how severe the crime was. And we also look at who is the one that you're doing this act to. If you go and you grab a woman on the streets, are you going to get arrested? At most, they'll give you a restraining order. Stay away from her. Like, and if you touch the Queen of England, you'll be sent to jail, locked up behind bars. And you'll do time in prison. Why? Because it's not just the crime you're looking at now. It's not just the severity of the crime. You're also looking at the one who you're doing the crime against. And if this is the case with Allah Azza wa Jal, then Allah is greater than any queen or king. He is Malikul Muluk, the King of Kings. And not just that, the crime within itself, shirk, to worship someone besides Allah, there is no crime worse than this. If I tell you there is a man, and his mother and his father, they worked their backsides off to raise him. They went through poverty, working double jobs each, to be able to put food on the table, to pay for him to go to university. When he grows up, he gets a good job, he calls mum and dad, he says, I'm never coming to visit you again. I don't care. Mum calls him, he doesn't answer. Rather, he goes to another lady and he says, you are my mother. What would you say about this person? Is that a good person? Can this person ever be good to anyone? If he cannot even be good to his mum or dad, can he be good to any other human being ever? The one who's most deserving of goodness from the humans is the parent. If you cannot be good to the parent, then you can't be good to no one. Am I making sense to you? But like, who is greater than the mum or the dad? Allah. Like, this person goes to another man. He goes to Jesus. Or even if it's a prophet, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he goes to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Or he goes to a saint, whoever that saint may be, and he says, I'm going to make dua to you. I'm going to worship you. But Allah is the one who made the heavens and the earth and gave you life and all the blessings that you have. But you turn away from Allah and you give to who? You give to one who is other than Allah. You have now committed shirk billahi azza wa jal. You are from the filthiest of human beings. I didn't say it. Allah said, أُولَٰئِكَ هُمْ شَرُّ الْبَرِيَّةِ. They are the worst of creatures. They're the worst of creatures. Doesn't matter if you're a Christian and you give charity, or an atheist and you give charity. You couldn't do good you couldn't do the most basic good, which is to acknowledge your Lord. There's no good from you. So that's the greatest crime. My brothers and sisters, you need to make sure. There are sisters here, right? Are there sisters downstairs? Or is it just brothers? Brothers and sisters, you have to stay clear of shirk. And the way that you do that is you study Tawheed. You study Tawheed, you study La ilaha illallah, and you study Shirk, so you know what to do and what to not do. The second greatest sin is bid'ah. Bid'ah. Shirk goes against La ilaha illallah. Bid'ah goes against Muhammadur Rasulullah. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam was sent. Why? Allah said, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَا رَسُولًا إِلَّا لِيُطَاعَ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. Allah said, we never, ever, under any circumstances, ever sent a messenger to the earth, except that the point of the messenger was that you obey him. You have to obey him. There's no other job of the messenger. There's no purpose, reason behind the messenger coming, except إِلَّا لِيُطَاعَ بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. You have to obey him. Like the one who does bid'ah, he says, I'm not going to obey the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He says, I'm going to do things that the Prophet never taught me to do. I'm going to make my religion up as I go along. Or I'm going to do my religion based on how my sheikh did the religion. For example, people do things like they celebrate the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam's birthday. Like in the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he never legislated this. He told us there are two Eids. Allah gave you two Eids. The Sahaba were celebrating another Eid. They were celebrating another Eid. He became angry. He said, what are you doing? Allah has replaced your festivals of Jahiliyyah with two Eids. And there is nothing else other than this. But the people say, we're going to add a third. Eid Milad al-Nabi. Sallallahu alayhi wasallam. That's what they say. And that is one example of bid'ah, and there's many types. That's the second greatest crime. That's the second greatest crime. And if a person dies on that, he must be very scared. He must be very scared. The Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, لَعَنَ اللَّهُ مَنْ آوَى مُحْدِثًا. There is a curse of Allah upon the one who shelters a person who does bid'ah. A curse upon the one who shelters the one who does bid'ah. Then what about the one who does bid'ah himself? If Allah's curse is on the one who shelters him, protects him, gives him cover, then what about the one who does the bid'ah himself? And what does it mean, la'an? What does curse mean? It means to take Allah's mercy away from you. Allah is saying, I'm taking my mercy away from you. And know that the Prophet ﷺ said, no one will enter paradise based on their good deeds. They will only enter paradise based on Allah's mercy. And then the Sahaba said, even you, O Messenger of Allah? He said, even me. So the person doing bid'ah will say, but I've done lots of good deeds. But it's all the stuff that he did himself, he made up himself. Or he took from his sheikh or whatever book he read. He made the religion up himself. It's not what the Prophet taught sallallahu alayhi wasallam. All of that will on the Day of Judgment become haba' manthura, scattered dust particles. It will mean nothing. It will mean nothing. Now the third sin, and I think that's the one which was the intent behind today's topic. The third category of crime is major sins. Sins. Now remember, the way that the government perceive crime is different to how we perceive crime. So the government will perceive murder to be a crime, theft to be a crime, fraud to be a crime, rape to be a crime. But there are more crimes as far as the Sharia is concerned. Lying is a crime. And lying takes you to the hellfire. Backbiting is a crime, and backbiting takes you to the hellfire. Not lowering your gaze when you see women walk by is a crime, and it will take you to the hellfire if you're consistent upon it. Boyfriend-girlfriend relationships are a criminal activity. This will lead you to the hellfire, my brothers and sisters. A person lacking modesty, haya, it is a criminal activity. You will go to the hellfire because of this. Abandoning your salah is a criminal activity. You will be in hellfire for this, my brothers and sisters. In fact, hellfire is not just, abandoning the salah is not just a major sin. Rather, abandoning the salah is kufr. But that's a topic for another day. Now you have to understand something. That there are punishments for crimes in this life, and there are punishments for crimes in the next life. For example, the scholars had many different punishments based on the kitab and the sunnah for a person who left the prayer that the Islamic government would inflict upon you. The least of them was to lock you up in jail. throw away the key until you start praying again. Abandoning the salah, not praying your 5 daily prayers is an offense in the Sharia which could have you locked up in prison. But you say to yourself, no problem. There's no Islamic government here. Queen Elizabeth isn't going to give 2 hoots if I don't pray. So no one's going to lock me up. The CPS, Crown Prosecution Services, are not going to bat an eyelid. So I got away with it. Until the day of judgment, that is, my brother. Until you see the hellfire. When they will enter the saqar, the hellfire. They will be asked, مَا سَلَكَكُمْ فِي السَّقَرِ. What is it that caused you to enter the hellfire? They're being asked inside of hell. What is it that caused you to enter the hellfire? They say, لَمْ نَكُ مِنَ الْمُصَلِّينَ. We were people who never used to pray. Aman, and sad, it's very sad, it's extremely sad. It brings tears to the eyes, such that if we could cry tears of blood, we would cry tears of blood from our eyes. A sin that is so destructive, such that the Prophet ﷺ said, this is min sab'ati mawbiqat. It's from the 7 destructive sins, the 7 sins that will destroy you and dip you into the hellfire. And that's the sin of fornication, the sin of zina, the sin of men and women who are not married, but they're sleeping around together. This is a disgusting thing. And today you will struggle to find a boy and girl who is not married, that has reached the age of 18 and they are clean from this kind of illicit activity. And sadly, many of the uncles and the aunties here may be surprised because they don't know. But the reality is that none of you young brothers who go to school and know what goes around in our generation or your generation is going to disagree with me. You know it's very hard. Being raised in a good household, sadly, is not enough to keep you safe. Why? Because the fitna is so much. And again, this is a crime that is punishable under the Islamic Sharia. And what is the punishment for a man and a woman that sleep around together? What is the punishment? It is that you be lashed 100 times. Number 1. Number 2, you are lashed in public, so that everyone can see you. A group of people are presented so they can set their eyes on you, so it can be seen, this person, the filthy act that they committed. And number 3, you are then exiled from the land for 1 year. So you receive a physical punishment in that you are lashed. You receive a sociological punishment in that you are humiliated before the public. And you receive a psychological punishment in that you are separated and left to be on your own, isolated from your community. And that is for men and women that sleep around. That is for boyfriend-girlfriend relationships. And if a man and woman are married and then they cheat on each other, adultery, then that is a punishment that in the Sharia is where one would be stoned to death. But you may say, the Metropolitan Police or wherever the police in Nottingham is, they don't care if we sleep around. As long as I don't rape her, they're not going to give a damn. And like I said, you might have gotten away with it, but you haven't gotten away with it for very long. For you will return to your grave, and dust will overcome you and take you, and your body will return back to the earth from which it came. And inside of your grave, you'll be punished. The Prophet ﷺ, he saw a group of people that were stripped naked. And they were placed inside of a massive oven, inside of a massive furnace. And a fire was lit from underneath them that burnt them, roasted them. The fire overcame them. And the Messenger ﷺ, disturbed by what he saw, asked the angels, what is this? Who are these people? And he was told, they are the men and women who used to sleep around together. And they were not married. Criminal activity. What about for the one who takes drugs? What about for the one who drinks alcohol? You think this is a small crime? You think it's a small crime? Alcohol, wallahi, that's how you know the system is absolutely corrupt. The drug, the intoxicant that creates more problems and more crime than cocaine, than heroin, than weed, than crystal meth, than crack, than LSD, is what? Is alcohol. Yet they make it legal. The NHS spends £13 billion a year dealing with alcohol-related incidences. They don't spend £13 billion on cocaine. It's evil. Cocaine is disgusting. But alcohol, my brothers and sisters, this is a side point as a benefit. I'm just mentioning min bab al-fa'ida to show you understand how only Allah Azza wa Jal is just and consistent. The same way you're going to say cocaine is illegal, alcohol should be illegal too, because alcohol does worse than cocaine. Anyway, the Prophet ﷺ said, "Kullu muskirin haram." Every single intoxicant is impermissible. So then if alcohol is an intoxicant, weed is an intoxicant, crack is an intoxicant, qad that they have in Yemen and Somalia is an intoxicant, hashish is an intoxicant, all of these drugs are intoxicants. So what is the punishment in the Sharia where a person is caught taking intoxicants? The Prophet ﷺ said, if a man is caught taking an intoxicant, drinking, smoking drugs, sniffing drugs, injecting drugs, the Prophet ﷺ said, فَجْلِدُوهُ, lash him. If he does it again, second time, فَجْلِدُوهُ, lash him. Not once, not twice, he gets lashing. If he does it the third time, what do? فَجْلِدُوهُ. The Prophet said, lash him. If you commit the offense for the fourth time, the Prophet ﷺ said, فَقْتُلُوهُ, kill him. His punishment is a death punishment, capital punishment. But to show you, this is how big the crime is. You're sitting there just smoking, rolling up zoots and bunning away, drinking away. Brother, you think this is something? That one zoot, if you get caught slipping in a Muslim Islamic country where the Sharia of Allah Azza wa Jalla is established, you will be lashed. Second, third time, the fourth time, your life would now be forfeited. But you say, listen, I live in the UK and this is not the punishment here. If I'm drinking, they're not going to say nothing to me. If I smoke some weed, they're just going to give me a caution. Smoke it twice, another caution. Third time, a confiscation. Maybe I spend 1 or 2 days behind bars. If I'm caught sniffing crack, and if I'm caught sniffing cocaine, you know what they're going to do? More time, they're not even going to put me in jail. They're going to send me to rehabilitation. I'm free. I'm free as a bird. But brother, don't think you got away with it. Because Allah Azza wa Jalla will catch you. On the day of judgment, when He catches you, what are you going to do? If the punishment for taking an intoxicant was for you to be lashed, my brother, then what is it going to be in the hellfire? What is it going to be on the day of judgment, huh? You can't handle the punishment, my brother. You can't handle the heat. What about someone who sells drugs? What about a drug dealer? What about the top shotter? What about your local Pablo Escobars? Ain't no one no Pablo Escobar, bro. You make more money working for Tesco's than you do selling weed in the streets. Reality is you're lazy. I know hundreds of drug dealers and they're all broke. I know people that work in Tesco, Carphone warehouse, they make more money. The issue is that you're living a Pablo Escobar dream that none of you are going to live up to. But pay attention, how did Pablo Escobar die? You tell me. How did he die? Gunned down. How did Scarface die? How did he die? How does he end up? How did they end up, my brother? I'm chatting to you. How did they end up? They gunned down, bro. These are the biggest idols that you have in this game, and none of them make it. You hearing me? And Allah told us this in the Quran, that when they turn away from our reminder, فَتَحْنَا عَلَيْهِمْ أَبْوَابَ كُلِّ شَيْءٍ, we will open for him every door of success. He said in drugs, he didn't want to listen. So Allah said, no problem, we'll open the door for success to him. He'll become the biggest drug dealer in the area. He went listening to nobody. Allah says, you want it? I'll give it to you. حَتَّى إِذَا فَرِحُوا, until he's in a point of ecstasy. Enjoying it, got the cars, the clothes, the money, the girls. It's all there. He made a little drug empire, a little cartel. Huh? Made a little cartel for himself. So what happens? حتى إذا فرحوا, he's in a state of enjoyment. Allah said, فأخذناه, we grab him. بغتة, suddenly. He wasn't expecting it, and we take him. And you see that. Pablo Escobar lived it up until he got shot down. Scarface. I don't even know if it's a true story. I think it's a true. Is it a true story? I don't even know. I don't even care. Anyway, he died. Even the kuffar, when they write their video scripts, they know that's how he's going to end up. They know how he's going to end up like that. That's the way it goes. No one makes it. Even if he's not selling drugs, he's a rapper. How did Tupac die? Gunned down on the Las Vegas Strip. How did Notorious B.I.G. die? How did Nipsey Hussle die? Nipsey Hussle died where, my brothers? My sisters, are you paying? You don't know about Nipsey Hussle? Nipsey Hussle got shot down on the same strip that he sold drugs on. He used to run that strip, Crenshaw Boulevard. He came back to that strip, he opened a shop on that strip, he lived in that strip, he tattooed the name of that strip, Crenshaw Boulevard, on his back. They came down, they gunned him down, someone from his own ends, on his own strip. فَأَخَذْنَاهُ بَغْتَةً, we grabbed him suddenly. So you think you're going to make it? Brother, never, ever, ever, don't get it twisted. What's the punishment for the one who's doing armed robbery, highway robber, selling drugs, fitna fasad in the streets? How did Allah say you deal with those who create fasad on the earth? Allah said you cut off their opposite limbs. You cut off his right hand and you cut off his left leg. Opposite like that. And these people are at risk of being crucified. Go read Surah Al-Ma'idah. Crucifixion. Drug dealers. Armed robbers. But you say, listen, I made it through, man. The Queen never caught me. The feds never caught me. I made it past 5-0. Boy, them can't see me. But my brother, Allah sees you. Allah, He sees you. What's Allah going to do to you on the Day of Judgment? On a day when the hellfire is raging and roaring, angry. In a way it's never been before. The prophets are scared for themselves. Adam, they will come to Adam. They'll say, Adam, Allah made you with His bare hands. Adam, 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 intercede for us. Speak to Allah. Adam will say, Nafsi, Nafsi, I'm scared for myself. Why? Because he committed one sin. He ate fruit from a tree he wasn't supposed to. And we can't understand why Adam made that sin. You know why? Because Adam never knew evil. He never had examples before him. You've seen people get locked up in prison. You've seen the way people live certain lives and what they've done. You've seen it, my brothers and sisters. Yet you still persist and carry on in what you do. It makes no sense. It absolutely makes no sense. Adam will say, اذهبوا إلى غيري. اذهبوا إلى نوح. Go to someone else other than me. Go to Nuh. I can't do anything for you. One sin. But we are here selling drugs. What about murder? Murder is a hot topic right now. London became one of the top murder capitals of the Western world. Last year, London hit a murder rate higher than New York. New York is where it all happens, man. Brooklyn, the Bronx, Queens. That's where we're always hearing about what? People getting shot down. Harlem. Gangster rap, where it originated from. How the hell did London surpass New York? And now we're hearing little old Nottingham. Wallah, I'm not going to lie. When the brothers called me and said, yo, they call Nottingham Shottingham. Wallah, I started laughing. No disrespect to the gangsters in the room. No disrespect to the gangsters. I started laughing. I was like, Nottingham? And I swear that's where little John Fry attacking them man are from. I swear that's where Robin Hood was running around with his little bow and arrow, jumping from one tree to another. They're telling me them man are shooting people? Get out of here. They're telling me, no, bro. They call it Shottingham. I was like, A'udhu Billah. If Nottingham, if a sweet old town like Nottingham is becoming a place where people are getting killed in the streets, then situation's getting bad. And you know what I'm going to tell you, what I'm saying to you right now? is because in the last week and a half, I met 2 people that killed someone. And they never meant to. It's becoming a thing where you will see people kill people, and those people, they never even meant to. You're placed in a situation where someone's coming at your house, got a knife, what do? Young kids that I thought, this guy can never be a killer, he's got blood in his hands. It's becoming a very sticky situation, so you need to know what the punishment for murder is. You see, murder is a punishment. I told you that the worst crime was shirk, right? Shirk is the worst crime. But despite it being the worst crime, murder is such a unique crime that Allah described its punishment in a way He didn't even describe shirk. Even though shirk is worse. Allah said, وَمَن يَقْتُلْ مُؤْمِنًا مُتَعَمِّدًا فَجَزَاؤُهُ جَهَنَّمُ. Allah tells you 5 things that a person will receive if he kills a believer intentionally. Number 1, you count with me. Jahannam. How many is that? He'll have hellfire. خالدا فيها. He will be in there for eternity. How many is that? وغضب الله عليه. Allah, He is angry with him. How many is that? وَلَعَنَهُ. Allah curses him. How many is that? وَأَعَدَّ لَهُ عَذَابٍ عَظِيمًا. Or is it Alima? Kamran. Alima? Kamran, what is it? No, is it عذاب أليمة or عذاب عظيمة? Alima. Allah said, I have prepared for him a tormenting punishment. If all of that wasn't enough of a punishment, Allah mentioned the 5th. A tormenting punishment. Hellfire. Eternity in it. Curse. Allah's anger. Allah's curse. And then Allah said on top of that, I have a mighty punishment. Tormenting punishment waiting for this person. You see, a person who takes the life of a person took the rights of 3 people. He didn't just take the right of Allah, because Allah told him not to do it. He didn't just take the right of the person who he killed, but he also took the right of the family. Now, you know when you get lashed for doing zina, then that punishment is wiped off the slate. Allah will not ask you about it on the Day of Judgment. When you get lashed for drinking alcohol or smoking drugs, then the punishment is wiped clean because you've been lashed. You will not be asked about it on the Day of Judgment. But murder is one thing, even if you got the punishment. What's the punishment? Death penalty, right? Even if you got that punishment on the Day of Judgment, you would still be asked about it. You know why? Because the death penalty is not there to return back to Allah the right you took from Him. It's not there to give back the right of the one you killed. It's only there to give back the right of the family. You took their son away. They want you to go now. Or if they spare you, they take the blood money from you. They take blood money from you and let you live. That will only settle the score as per the family. But as for the individual who got killed, he can never forgive you. If I lied to you, if I backbited you, if I slandered you, if I stole from you, I can seek your forgiveness because you're alive. If I killed you, how can I seek your forgiveness? On the Day of Judgment, that man is coming for you. And how many deeds is he going to take from you? The weight of deeds that are worth his life. And what is the value of the life of a believer? the Prophet ﷺ looked at the Kaaba one day and he said, how sacred are you? He said, you're sacred, but the single drop of a believer's blood is more sacred than you, O Kaaba. One drop of a believer's blood is more sacred than you, O Kaaba. So imagine the deeds that are worth more in value than the Kaaba you have to give back. And we know how valuable the Kaaba is. But you might say, listen, I didn't kill a Muslim, I don't want to kill a Muslim. I want to kill a kafir, or I killed a kafir. You think that's easy? Allah said the one who takes the life of one person unjustly is like he killed and took the life of every single human being on the face of the planet. It's like he destroyed all of humanity. And if you save the life of one person, it's like you saved the whole of humanity. So murder is very big. My brothers and my sisters, stay away from harming people. I met a brother today, he told me, I punched a guy. He punched him so hard the guy dropped dead. How many times you get into a little fight at school? How many times you get into a little scruff? And you say to yourself, bro, it's just a little scrap, I'm going to lick him in the head a couple times. Some people brick you in the head, bot you in the head. Akhi, how do you know that's not the one for him to die from? Recently we had a brother that we buried who got stabbed. He only got stabbed in the leg. When they done his autopsy, they found out that he didn't get stabbed in any vital artery. He didn't get stabbed in any organ. They are so confused. How did this man die? How did he die? It's just a flesh wound. Something happened in his brain. He could have got a shock. Anything. He died. You hurt someone. My brothers and my sisters, they can die from that. They can die from that. Don't ever harm a person. Don't harm a person. Be like the son of Adam. When his brother said, I'm going to kill you. And he said, if you extend your hand to kill me, I will not extend my hand to kill you. The Prophet ﷺ said, Kun ka ibn Adam. Be like the son of Adam. If he slaps you, he punches you, you will be raised darajat in the next life. Now there is a chapter in fiqh called Daf'u Sa'il. Self-defense basically. There is a chapter in fiqh called self-defense. So you ask me, am I not allowed to defend myself? And you are. But ya ikhwatul kiram, you don't know how to clean your backside. You haven't studied Kitab Tahara, which is the first thing you study in fiqh. You haven't studied Kitab Salah. You haven't studied Kitab Zakat, Siyam, fasting, Hajj. You haven't studied these things. First study them. When you come and you study Daf'u Sa'il, when you study that chapter in fiqh, this chapter of self-defense, which comes towards the end, to know what is self-defense, when is it self-defense, what's the difference between fitna and self-defense? Because if it's fitna, and in fitna, the Muslim's trying to kill you, the Prophet ﷺ told you, let him kill you. Let him kill you. But then if a person's trying to kill you and you're defending your family, another time the Prophet ﷺ said, if you die defending, you die shaheed. What's the difference now? What's the difference? One time you die defending yourself and your property, you're a shaheed. Another time you die defending yourself, your property, in fitna. You die in fitna and you're a murderer. Eternity in the hellfire potentially. If you do not repent. Of course, if you repent, Allah will forgive you. And you won't be eternity there. But you still suffer if the person comes to you on a day of judgment. But you won't have eternity. The point is, when do you know? When is it fitna and when is it self-defense? When is it fitna and when is it daf'u sa'il? When is it asa'il? When is it fitna? I'll be honest, the time is so confusing. Even me, I don't know if I would be defending myself or if I'm in fitna. So, you know what the Prophet advised in this situation? It's better to stay away from the problem and prevent it, as opposed to having to solve the problem when it happens. The Prophet said, stay in your houses. Don't come out. do not come out. Unless there's a need. I'm a grown man, I'm 29 years old, and I'll be honest with you, I don't come out. You think to me, when you look at me, you think I'm a guy that gets into problems? Do I attract problems? Well, like last summer, I almost got into 3 issues in the streets. Both times I turned away. Third time I was with my mum. Some kafir guy came up with a dog, he started talking about Muslims. I'm not gonna lie, I lost it. I said, what? Who are you talking to, bro? And I walked out to it. I don't know what happened, astaghfirullah. I think some kind of fear entered into his heart. Him and his dog both ran away. But I'll be honest, that was wrong. You know why? Because, shall I tell you why I was wrong? Because I became angry. If I did it and I never became angry, I would have been in control of my situation. I'm just trying to scare him off. But the fact I know myself, I became angry at that time. And anger is something in it you kill. Anger is something in it you swear. How many brothers, innocent, good brothers, are now in jail because they became angry? Wrong place, wrong time, became angry. I said to myself, Allah is sending me a sign. I have to get out of this country. Because I don't want to hurt no one. And I don't myself want to get hurt. So until I'm here, until I get a chance to leave, I'm staying in my house. And that's my life. Masjid house, masjid house, masjid house. Every now and again you get hungry. I catch my brother Jordan, aka Yunus from Hounslow, tell him catch the bus, meet me at Taste al-Lahore, or the 1-2 butter naan chicken korma. You know what I'm saying? Kebab roll, have some ketchup, chili sauce, garlic meal on the side. As soon as you eat, catch an Uber, go back home. I don't even walk back home. Wallah, I'm not scared, I'm a grown man. I'm not scared. Wallahi billah, I'm not scared. I don't want to place myself in fitna. But this is something that obviously I'm understanding from age. A man can swear at me, spit at me, and I don't feel the need that I have to say something back to him. You know why? Because I know that Allah is going to give me more if I firm it and I'm patient. You know, shall I tell you the value and the reward for not getting angry? The Prophet ﷺ said, anyone that controls himself and lets another person overcome him, violate him in an argument, whatever have you, you know what your reward will be? On the Day of Judgment, you'll be brought out in front of everyone else. And Allah will tell you, look at all of these women in paradise, pick whichever one you want. Sorry, sisters downstairs. Sorry about that, sisters. I didn't mean to spoil the show for you guys. What do you think? It'd be nice, huh? Camera's on, so just for the record, in case my wife is watching, don't worry, I love you, babes. But Jannah's Jannah. I'm joking. I'm playing. But do you understand what I'm trying to say to you, my brothers and sisters? Stay away from crime. There's another crime that I forgot to mention, which is a very bad crime, that we take very, very lightly. And that's the crime of slandering someone. What's the difference between backbiting and slandering? Umar ibn Khattab radiallahu anh said, if I say something bad about someone and it's true, O Messenger of Allah, is there anything wrong with that? The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam told him that this is backbiting. The whole point of backbiting is that you spoke about him and what he said is true. Did you see? She was with her boyfriend last night. Did you see? I caught him smoking last night. What are you doing, akhi? Cover his sin. What on earth are you doing? Akhi, wallahi billahi tallahi, uqsam bi rabbil Kaaba, you are not an angel. The only difference between you and him is that people ain't seeing what you got underneath the table. Why are you talking about him? Backbiting, the Prophet ﷺ said, is saying about your brother what he doesn't like. Even if it's true. Slandering the Prophet ﷺ, he said that is when you say something about the person and it isn't even true. And we live in a maidan, a life, a world of social media in which people, they slander. A little something comes out and they put an accusation on a person on social media and everyone starts spreading it. I'll give you an example of something from my life that you guys might have seen on Twitter to show you the way it works. Does anyone know we done an event where we gave away a Louis Vuitton handbag in London? Did anyone see that video? They gave away a Louis Vuitton handbag. Did anyone see on Twitter there was a fight after that event? Some girls were beating each other up. Did anyone see that? Put your hand up. Okay, alhamdulillah. It went viral. Basically, these girls who came to the event, after the event, they started fighting each other. Huh? See? No, it wasn't over the bag. But on Twitter, everyone started criticizing us, saying, look, damn man, this is what happens when you give away LV handbags. Look at that, you made the girls fight over the bag. Girls are fighting each other over the bag. I never ever said anything about this publicly. It's the first time I'm saying it, so I'm going to cut this part out, put it on Twitter, so all those Twitter trolls can get what's coming to them. But you know what the story was? Let me show you. Like, it makes sense, right? There's an event, it's a massive event, 500 sisters turned up, give away an LV handbag. Right after the event, you got a video of girls swearing, punching each other, ripping off each other's hijabs. It's chaos. See, they fought over the handbag. So some joker put on Twitter, I think they're fighting over the handbag, you know. And the next person retweets, look, they're fighting over the handbag, you know. And the next thing is like, look, everyone, they fought over the handbag. And it spreads. But there was a story behind that. You know what the story was? Shall I tell you what it was? It was so unconnected and unrelated to the event. After the event, there were some girls. One of the girls said to the other girl, "You're fat." The other girl decided to rugby tackle her. So the point is, it had nothing to do with us. Now, I'm, inshallah, a forgiving person, and I won't hold you to account for slandering me and my team and whatnot. But what about when you talk about people's personal lives? This guy's a criminal. This guy's a thief. This guy's a fraudster. This guy's this. This guy's a hypocrite. This guy's a munafiq. And you spread things. This guy's a liar. This guy's that. And wallahi, it's sad because it happens a lot to women. From the greatest 7 destructive sins, along with shirk, along with murder, along with zina, along with magic, is what? قَذْفُ الْمُحْصَنَاتِ الْغَافِلَاتِ, is to slander chaste women. Slander chaste women. She's innocent. She doesn't even know what's going on. And people are spreading things about her on the internet. It could be on a big scale or a small scale. Brothers, you know when you engage in that, you know what the punishment is? 80 lashes. 80 lashes. You might say, I got away with it. It's not a criminal activity to slander and talk about people on the internet. Guess what? There's a hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, and I never really understood it until I thought about social media. The Prophet said, a man will come on the Day of Judgment and he will have deeds the size of the mountain of Uhud. But he would have done so much wrong that he would have to give all those deeds out to the people that he harmed. Because on that day, when you harm someone, you have to give them deeds. And I thought, how can a man come? Have you seen the mountain of Uhud? Bro, it's big. I tried to climb it, I could only climb half. Remember that, Jubaid? I could only climb half the mountain. And it's weird. It's actually not just a tall mountain, it's very long. It's massive. So a person that done that many good deeds, wallah, he must have done a lot of good deeds, and you had to give it all away. You think, how much wrong could you have done to a person? How much evil could you have done? And then I thought, and I realized, social media perhaps. You put up one tweet, one statement, and it gets 10,000 retweets. Then it gets requoted, and then there's the people who saw it and spread it, and they never retweeted. That's even more. One tweet, it can take away a whole mountain worth of good deeds. So when people are talking rubbish online, just be quiet. Be quiet. Don't engage. Don't involve. Because if they're wrong, then by you talking about it, you're backbiting them. And if they didn't do it, and you're not a judge, and you don't know how to judge, you don't know what the Sharia is, like so you don't know how to clean your backside properly. What did the Sharia say about cleaning your backside? This is fiqh, Islamic law. You don't know that, but you now want to be a judge in people's personal lives? You don't know. You want to play judge, jury, executioner? Keep your mouth closed. Because if they did it, Allah is enough to deal with them. What's all this I want to expose? If they did the sin and they did the crime, then now you have given them all of your good deeds. So even if they were guilty, they're now going to be better than you on the Day of Judgment. Wallahi, a lot of people talk trash about me on the internet. I think to myself, I'm not a good person. I know the shortcomings that I have. I honestly, one thing that I'm really relying upon on the Day of Judgment is all of the things people say about me, so that I can take that and maybe that will be my way to get to Jannah. Because I know I have fallen short in worshipping my Lord the way He deserves to be worshipped. I'm guilty of that. So for me, that's one thing I look forward to, is all of the lies and the backbiting and the slander that people have done in my name. So when you talk about someone, wallahi, and they're constantly on your tongue, even if he's a criminal, why are you giving him your good deeds? Allah was going to deal with him, but now you gave him. And then there are those, they don't engage in the slander, but they enjoy it. They're not online retweeting, they're not dropping a comment, they're not dropping a like, but you know what they're doing? Or they are dropping likes, sorry. But you know what? They're watching. Every day they come on, hey, what happened? What came up? Did you make another video? Did a new video come up? What's the new gossip? What's the new goss? I'm getting FOMO here. Fear of missing out. Chat to me, what's going on? These people, they are inna alladhina. They are the ones who tuhibbuna an tashiha al-fahisha fil ladina amanu. They are ones who Allah said they love. There are people they love. They like for scandals to spread amongst the believers. They enjoy it. They love it. They love the scandal. Ooh, juicy. I'm not involved. I'm not saying. I never said it. But they keep up to date with it though. Keep up to date with it. They enjoy it. They're going to have a punishment too. So be careful. Ya ikhwatul kiram. I love you all for Allah Azza wa Jalla's sake. And I pray that Allah, He grants us a better understanding of this deen. And He takes us to a path and a place that is better. Brothers, can I advise you something? One thing that I really started to understand in my later years. I'm 29 and I'm old. I've got grey hairs in my beard. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. But I tell you something. This is something that sadly you just don't realize until you grow old. And I hate myself for not taking this advice many years ago. If only I could turn back the hands of time. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Al-barakatu ma'a akabirikum." That the barakah is with your elders. Listen to what they are telling you. They've been there, they've done that, they've made those mistakes. But you just won't listen because youth is like an intoxicant in and within itself. It's like a drug in and within itself. Just trust me. Sometimes your parents tell you things, it doesn't make sense. Just trust me. Even if it doesn't make sense, does the Prophet's statement make sense? The Prophet said the barakah is with them. Even if it doesn't make sense to you, know that whatever they say, there's barakah in it. Can you go wrong if there's barakah? Please listen to what your elders are saying. What your elders tell you with regards to deen. Hatta what your elders tell you with regards to dunya. As long as what they're telling you doesn't go against what Allah said and what the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, that's the only time you say to the elders, Barakallahu feekum, respectfully, but in this I cannot obey you. But like if they tell you with regards to deen and dunya, al-barakatu ma'a akabirikum. Learn from the mistake of us elders. Like all the older brothers, put your hand up if you think what I'm saying is right. Do you not look back and think, if only I listened to my dad? If only I listened to my older cousins and uncles. Look at that. Inshallah, is any questions? سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, brothers and sisters. So that video that you just saw right now, that video was from our Matting in the Masjid project. This is a project that alhamdulillah has been running for a while now. Most importantly with the permission of Allah, and then of course with the donations that you guys have generously been giving from your own pockets. We've been doing tours up and down the country. We've been doing classes around London. We've been doing mentoring, events, so on and so forth. And the videos are there for everyone to see. Alhamdulillah, we're very clear with how this money is spent, where people, mashallah, have been swarming the masjid, alhamdulillah. Now, in order for us to continue these events and classes and so on and so forth, we do need to continue with the fundraising. That's why we're asking you to help us out. You know, if we can raise the remainder of the funds that we need to raise within the next 2 weeks, that will sort us out very nicely to the end of the summer, inshallah ta'ala. Just to give you a little example of how effective, with the permission of Allah, this program is, just at the last event, one of the brothers came into the masjid with drugs. He had drugs on him in his bag. And after the talk and after the event, came up to Brother Imran, he came up to one of the speakers and said to them, I've been drug dealing for a while. I've got drugs on me. What do I do with them? I really want to change. He ended up throwing the drugs away. And that's just one person. That's just one example. That's just one story. And there's so many more out there. So please, brothers and sisters, donate generously and help us, help the youth, and in turn, help you. Barakallahu feek. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.